What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a discussion today about the tier list. Now, the tier list is something that has been around in Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time, and its reason and purpose is to technically devise which decks are better and which decks are, good, bad, so on and so forth. If they're in a certain tier with other decks, it means that they are technically on par with those decks. If they are tier 1, it means they are the best decks of the format. So that is what it technically means. But today I'm talking about, is it actually useful to have this tier list referenced in the game? So history of the tier list, it was set a long time ago. When I used to start playing a long time ago, it was kind of always around there. People would say this is tier 1, this is tier 0, so on and so forth. And I feel that without really thinking about it too much, it's just something that you can say, yeah, Shadow's a tier 1, that's fair enough. The mentality behind that and the thought process behind that is if you say to someone, Shadow's a tier 1, they will think, yeah, they're one of the top decks, that's fair enough. But that isn't where my gripe really stands. My gripe stands with the tier 2s, the tier 3s, the 1.5s, the 2.5s. And what really says that they are in that tier? What says that they can't aim to be like tier 1? Because it all depends on what deck is in the owner's hand. And in my opinion, after tier 1, when we go lower, I don't really feel that it's really easily definable to put decks in certain tiers. Now you could say that obviously there are going to be worse decks out there, say Ice Barriers, that aren't really that competitive at all, and you could say that's a tier 5 list. But why 5? Why not 4? What else is in 4? People need to really sit down and say what is actually in these tiers, and no one will really agree on what is lower. And while you might say it doesn't really matter because people only want to know what tier 1 or even a tier 0 deck might be, it kind of matters to a lot of other people, including myself. I feel that a lot of decks that I play would technically be classified as tier 2, but I know how these decks run, and I know how these decks can counter tier 1 decks. And I feel that just because it's slapped in tier 2, a lot of people will just not even look at the deck. That's why a lot of people won't really venture into looking at other decks and bringing them to different tournaments. Because yes, I am not saying that Necro, Shadow, Burning Abyss, Tellarknight, everything like that are not good, and they aren't the top decks, which they are, because based on the way the decks run and the mechanics of the decks and the monsters that they have access to, that it works out very well. But what I am saying is these tier 2 decks that aren't given a chance can stand up to them if you build it the right way. I don't really like the idea of the tier list. I don't think it should be used to classify decks in the game, and I feel that it should really be abolished from the player base, but it's never going to be because, let's face it, we're all a bit lazy. We want to know, say, right, tell me the top tier decks, tell me the tier 1 decks. Oh, you have Shadow, blah, 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 blah. It's just kind of easy to do it like that. But I want to know what you guys think about the tier list. Do you think it's something that is useful for the game, a useful reference tool? Or do you think it's just something that's slapped together and always changed and open to the possibility of being completely misconstrued because of the players who use it? So as I said, let me know down in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I should catch you guys later.